Walter White, a renowned chemistry professor, found himself inside his laboratory chemical room, surrounded by various chemicals and equipment. Despite his bandaged nose and goggles for protection, Walter was focused on his latest experiment. He meticulously mixed different chemicals, carefully adding drops to create a new substance. Meanwhile, outside the laboratory, Jesse sat casually spinning a glowing rod in his hand, while Mike Ehrmantraut leaned against the wall, waiting for Walter to finish his task. Jesse questioned what Walter was inventing, curious about the outcome. Inside the laboratory, Walter's face glistened with sweat as he struggled to perfect his creation. With determination, he continued mixing chemicals, wiping the sweat off his face. As Walter neared completion, he urged himself to stay patient and focused. Finally, after much effort, Walter finished making his final product, a glowing substance contained in a gun. Excited, he emerged from the room to show Mike and Jesse the result. They marveled at the glowing arthropod Walter had created, which emitted a purple light. Deciding to test the substance, they released the glowing arthropod into the desert, where it injected a nearby Deathstalker scorpion. The scorpion began to glow purple, engaging in a fierce battle with the arthropod. The showdown resulted in the desert being shrouded in a purple mist. As they drove away in their high-tech AI electric car, the glowing arthropods continued their fight in the desert. The car emitted gas along its path, leaving a trail of purple mist behind. Back at their base, Jesse expressed pride in their accomplishment, while Mike acknowledged that they would gain recognition for their invention. Walter remained calm, waiting to see the impact of their creation. The next day, the news of the glowing arthropod spread, with the mayor praising Walter and his team for their incredible achievement. They were hailed for creating a substance that helped arachnids maintain ecosystems by emitting a purple gas during their battles. As night fell, Walter and his team rested, reflecting on the events of the day. They were content with their work, knowing they had made a significant impact on the environment. In the darkness of the night, the glowing arthropods continued their battle in the desert, casting a mystical glow over the landscape. Walter and his team had achieved something extraordinary, leaving a mark on the world that would not be soon forgotten. The story of Walter White and his allies had become a legend, a tale of scientific discovery, teamwork, and bravery in the face of the unknown. They had ventured into uncharted territory and emerged victorious, proving that with courage and ingenuity, anything was possible. Words. 436. Walter White, a chemistry professor known for his unparalleled skills in the field, found himself completely absorbed in his latest project inside the laboratory chemical room. With his laboratory outfit, gloves, bandaged nose, and goggles on, he meticulously mixed different chemicals, slowly adding drops of one chemical to another as he worked to create a new substance. Despite the difficulty of the task, Walter remained focused, determined to see it through. Outside the laboratory, his associate Jesse sat casually, spinning a glowing rod in his hand, the light reflecting off his face as he mused about Walter's latest invention. Beside him, Mike Ehrmantraut leaned against the wall, arms crossed, patiently waiting for Walter to finish his work. The trio had become known for their innovative creations, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in the realm of chemistry. Inside the chemical laboratory room, Walter's face glistened with sweat as he labored over the final steps of his project. Wiping his brow with a handkerchief, he worked methodically, mixing the last few chemicals with care. As he placed the final product into a container attached to a gun, a sense of relief washed over him. It was done. Emerging from the room, Walter presented his creation to Jesse and Mike, who watched in awe as he tested it on a wolf spider. To their amazement, the spider's body began to emit a glowing purple light, a sign of the substance's effectiveness. Excited by the results, they decided to release the spider into the desert, where it encountered a Deathstalker scorpion and injected it with the glowing toxin. As the two arthropods engaged in an intense battle, their bodies illuminated with the purple glow, emitting a misty gas that filled the desert air. Walter, Jesse, and Mike marveled at the spectacle, knowing they had created something truly unique and remarkable. Driving away in their high-tech AI electric car, the three chemists watched as the glowing arthropods continued their fierce combat, the purple gas lingering in their wake. The scene shifted to later that night, as they settled down in a room, reflecting on their success. Jesse remarked on the impact of their creation, while Mike predicted they would become legendary figures in the scientific community. The following morning, the news of their achievement spread rapidly, with the mayor himself commending them for their groundbreaking work. The glowing arthropods, with their eternal battle and purple gas emissions, were hailed as a revolutionary solution for maintaining ecosystems in a stylish and effective manner. As night fell once again, Walter, Jesse, and Mike relaxed, basking in the glow of their accomplishment. They spoke of the day's events, grateful for the opportunity to create something extraordinary that would positively impact the world around them. And as they settled in for the night, they knew that their legacy as visionary chemists was secure. Words. 477. Inside the laboratory chemical room, Walter White, the chemistry professor, was working diligently on a new experiment. Dressed in his laboratory outfit, gloves, and bandaged nose, he carefully mixed different chemicals together, his hands trembling with anticipation. As he raised a test tube to add a drop of a mysterious substance, he muttered to himself, "Just let's get over it and do something." Outside the room, Jesse sat casually in a chair, spinning a glowing rod on his hand. He looked over at Mike Ehrmantraut, who was leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. Now what is Walter inventing? Jesse wondered aloud. Meanwhile, inside the chemical laboratory room, sweat dripped down Walter's face as he struggled to create a new chemical substance. Wiping his brow with a handkerchief, he whispered to himself, just a few more left. Stay cool, Walter, stay cool. After mixing the final few chemicals, Walter emerged from the room with a container gun filled with his new invention. Mike and Jesse eagerly examined the glowing purple substance, impressed by Walter's work. They decided to test it on a wolf spider, which immediately began to glow with a vibrant purple light. Excited by their success, Walter and his allies loaded the glowing arthropod into a high-tech AI electric car and drove out to the desert. There, they released the spider, which injected a nearby Deathstalker scorpion with its glowing toxins. The scorpion quickly began to glow, and soon a fierce battle erupted between the two glowing creatures. As the arthropods fought endlessly, emitting purple mist into the desert air, Walter and his allies watched in awe. They quickly retreated to their electric car, which emitted a trail of purple gas as they drove away. Back in their room that night, the team reflected on their success. Jesse grinned and said, "We did it." Mike nodded, impressed by their achievement. Walter simply smiled and said, "Let's wait and see." The next morning, the news of their invention spread like wildfire. The mayor praised them for creating a product that helped arachnids maintain ecosystems by emitting purple gas during their battles. The people of North America lauded Walter and his team for their ingenuity. As night fell once again, the team relaxed on the sofas, basking in their success. They marveled at the glowing arthropods' ability to maintain ecosystems in a stylish and badass manner. As they settled in for the night, they knew they had done something truly extraordinary. Words. 412. Walter White, a renowned chemistry professor, was known for his exceptional skills in the laboratory. On this particular day, he was engrossed in creating a new chemical substance that would revolutionize the way ecosystems were maintained. With his laboratory outfit on, bandaged nose, and protective gear, Walter carefully mixed various chemicals to create the final product. Meanwhile, Jesse and Mike Ehrmantraut were waiting outside the laboratory room, curious about Walter's latest invention. Jesse, casually spinning a glowing rod in his hand, questioned what Walter was up to. Mike, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, patiently waited for Walter to finish his experiment. Inside the laboratory, Walter's face was covered in sweat as he struggled to perfect the chemical mixture. With determination and focus, he finally succeeded in creating the final product. As he emerged from the room with the container gun carrying the glowing substance, Jesse and Mike eagerly inspected the invention. Using the glowing substance on a wolf spider, they witnessed the remarkable transformation as the spider's body emitted a purple glow. Impressed by the results, Walter and his allies decided to release the glowing arthropod into the desert. The spider injected the nearby Deathstalker scorpion with its glowing toxins, causing the scorpion to also emit a purple glow. A fierce battle ensued between the two glowing arthropods, with purple mist enveloping the desert. Walter and his allies quickly left in their high-tech AI electric car, leaving behind a trail of purple gas. Back in the room, during the night, the team reflected on their achievement. They were proud of creating something extraordinary that would help maintain ecosystems in a unique and stylish manner. As they settled down to rest, they were grateful for the day's success. The next morning, the news of Walter White's invention spread quickly, garnering praise from the people of North America. The glowing arthropods were hailed as champions for flawlessly maintaining ecosystems with their eternal battle and emission of purple gas. In a meeting with the mayor, Walter and his team were commended for their incredible creation. The mayor expressed admiration for their contribution to the environment and the innovation they had displayed. Walter and his allies were filled with pride at the recognition they received. As night fell once again, the team relaxed on the sofas, reminiscing about the day's events. They were content with their accomplishment and the impact it would have on the world. With a sense of fulfillment, they drifted off to sleep, knowing they had made a difference with their groundbreaking invention. Words. 425. Inside the laboratory chemical room, Walter White, the chemistry professor, was hard at work mixing different chemicals to create a new substance. His face was covered in sweat as he carefully added drops of one chemical to another. Outside the room, Jesse sat casually spinning a glowing rod on his hand, while Mike Ehrmantraut leaned against the wall, arms crossed, waiting for Walter to finish. Walter muttered to himself, "Just a few more left, then it will be finished." He wiped the sweat off his face and continued to mix the chemicals with extreme difficulty. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he finished creating the final product and filled a container attached to a gun with it. Exiting the room with the final product in hand, Walter showed it to Mike and Jesse. They were impressed by his invention and decided to test it on a wolf spider. The spider began to glow purple, proving the effectiveness of Walter's creation. Excited by the results, Walter and his allies loaded the glowing spider into a box and drove out into the desert in a high-tech AI electric car. They released the spider and watched as it injected a nearby Deathstalker scorpion with its glowing toxins. The scorpion also began to glow, and soon two glowing arthropods were fighting endlessly, emitting purple mist all around the desert. As they drove away, their car emitted gas on its path, leaving a trail of purple mist behind. Back in the room during the night, the team settled down, amazed by the impact of their invention. Jesse exclaimed, "We did it." And Mike added, "We are going to be recognized for this." The next morning, Walter and his team were praised by the mayor for their incredible creation that helped maintain ecosystems in a stylish and badass manner. The people of North America appreciated their efforts, and the team basked in their newfound recognition. During the night, Walter and his allies sat on the sofas, reflecting on the day's events. They were proud of what they had achieved, creating something extraordinary that would benefit ecosystems in a unique way. Overall, the story was filled with excitement, creativity, and a touch of thriller as the glowing arthropods battled endlessly in the desert. Walter White and his team had proven their skills as inventors and received the recognition they deserved for their groundbreaking creation. Words. 398. Walter White. Just let's get over it and do something. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be. Jesse. Now what is he inventing now? Mike. Let's just wait and see. Walter White starts mixing chemicals carefully. Walter White. Just a few more left and that's all. Walter White wipes the sweat off his face. Walter White. Stay cool, Walter. Stay cool. Walter White finishes making the final product. Walter White. It's done. Mike and Jesse take a look at the final product. Jesse. That's incredible, Walter White. Walter White releases the glowing arthropod into the desert. The glowing arthropod injects the nearby Deathstalker scorpion with its glowing toxins. The scorpion starts glowing as well. Mike and Jesse watch as the glowing arthropods start fighting endlessly. Mike and Jesse get back into the high-tech AI electric car and drive away. Morning arrives. Jesse, we did it. Mike, we're going to be famous. Walter White, let's just wait and see. The team is in the mayor's inner room. Mayor, today, these men have done something incredible. They have created something that helps arachnids flawlessly maintain ecosystems by emitting purple gas from their eternal battle. The people of North America start to appreciate and praise them. Nighttime. Walter White, I'm glad we created something extraordinary. The team settles down and rests easy. The glowing arthropods flawlessly maintain ecosystems by constantly emitting purple smoke from their battles. They reflect on their day before resting on the sofa. As the team of Walter White, Jesse, and Mike basked in the recognition and praise they received for their creation, little did they know that the glowing arthropods they had unleashed into the desert would cause chaos and destruction. The glowing arthropods, fueled by Walter's final product, continued to battle each other endlessly, emitting purple misty gaseous substances that spread throughout the desert, affecting the wildlife and ecosystem around them. As reports of the glowing arthropods' rampage spread, panic ensued among the residents of the nearby towns. The authorities were at a loss on how to contain the situation, as the glowing arthropods seemed unstoppable in their battle for dominance. Walter, Jesse, and Mike realized the grave consequences of their actions and knew they had to find a way to stop the glowing arthropods before it was too late. They embarked on a dangerous mission to track down the arthropods and contain them before they caused any further harm. The team faced numerous challenges along the way, from evading the authorities who saw them as responsible for the chaos to outsmarting the relentless glowing arthropods in their battle. But with their combined skills and determination, they managed to devise a plan to lure the arthropods into a trap and neutralize them once and for all. In a thrilling showdown in the heart of the desert, Walter, Jesse, and Mike faced off against the glowing arthropods in a final epic battle. With their lives on the line, they fought bravely and strategically, using their wits and the knowledge of their creation to outsmart the powerful creatures. In the end, after a fierce and intense struggle, the glowing arthropods were finally subdued and contained, bringing an end to the chaos they had unleashed. The team emerged victorious, but they knew they had learned a valuable lesson about the consequences of playing with forces beyond their control. As they looked out at the peaceful desert landscape, now free from the glowing arthropods' influence, Walter, Jesse, and Mike knew that they had averted a disaster and had shown the world the power of scientific innovation when wielded responsibly. And as they drove off into the sunset, they vowed to use their knowledge for the betterment of humanity, leaving behind the thrill and danger of their past creation. Words. 632. Walter White, a chemistry professor, found himself alone in his laboratory chemical room with a bandaged nose and goggles on as he prepared to conduct an experiment. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he carefully mixed different chemicals, creating a new substance. Meanwhile, outside the room, Jesse sat casually spinning a glowing rod on his hand, while Mike Ehrmantraut leaned against the wall, waiting for Walter to finish. Inside the laboratory, Walter's hands shook as he struggled to invent the new substance. Wiping the sweat from his face, he urged himself to stay focused and patient. After mixing the final few chemicals, he excitedly placed the product in a container gun, ready for testing. Emerging from the room, Walter showed Mike and Jesse the glowing substance he had created. Testing the product on a wolf spider, they watched in amazement as the spider's body emitted a purple glow. Impressed by Walter's invention, they loaded the glowing spider into a box and drove to the desert to release it. Injecting a nearby Deathstalker scorpion with the glowing toxin, they watched as the scorpion's body began to glow purple as well. The two arthropods started to fight, emitting a misty purple gas as they clashed endlessly. Back in the electric AI car, Walter and his allies drove away, leaving the glowing arthropods to battle in the desert. As they settled down for the night, Jesse expressed their accomplishment, while Mike spoke of their newfound recognition. Walter remained reserved, waiting to see the impact of their creation. The next morning, the mayor praised Walter and his team for their incredible invention, which helped arachnids maintain ecosystems by emitting purple gas during their battles. The people of North America celebrated their achievement, recognizing the glowing arthropods as a unique and effective solution for ecosystem maintenance. As night fell, Walter and his allies reflected on the day's events, feeling satisfied with their extraordinary creation. Watching the glowing arthropods continue their battle from a distance, they marveled at the stylish and badass way in which the arachnids maintained ecosystems through their eternal clash. Settling down for the night, the team rested easy, knowing they had made a significant impact on the world with their innovative invention. And as they drifted off to sleep, they dreamt of future possibilities for their glowing arthropods and the ecosystems they protected. Words. 391. It was a typical day in the laboratory chemical room, with Walter White, the chemistry professor, working diligently on a new experiment. With his goggles on and gloves secured, he muttered to himself, let's just get over with it and see what happens. He carefully mixed different chemicals in a test tube, slowly adding drops of one chemical to another. Outside the room, Jesse sat casually spinning a glowing rod, while Mike Ehrmantraut leaned against the wall, waiting for Walter to finish. Walter's face was covered in sweat as he struggled with the experiment. Wiping his brow, he muttered, just a few more left. With determination, he mixed the final few chemicals and produced a mysterious substance. Emerging from the room with a container gun holding the final product, Walter presented it to Jesse and Mike. They tested it on a wolf spider, which glowed with a purple light. Impressed, they decided to release the spider into the desert. The spider injected a nearby deathstalker scorpion with its glowing toxins, causing the scorpion to also glow purple. The two arthropods engaged in an endless battle, emitting purple mist in the desert. As Walter and his allies drove away in their high-tech AI electric car, leaving the glowing arthropods to fight, they reflected on their achievement. Jesse commented, "We did it," while Mike added, "We will be recognized for this." The next morning, news of the glowing arthropods spread, and the people of North America praised Walter and his team for their extraordinary creation. They were invited to the mayor's office, where they were commended for their contribution to maintaining ecosystems in a unique and stylish manner. Back in their room at night, Walter and his allies relaxed, proud of their accomplishment. They marveled at how the arthropods' eternal battle not only maintained ecosystems but also captivated the public with their glowing display. As they settled in for the night, Walter's team reflected on the day's events, grateful for the opportunity to create something extraordinary. They drifted off to sleep, content in knowing they had made a positive impact on the world with their innovative creation. Words. 356. The purple glow emitted by the arthropods was mesmerizing as Walter White and his team watched in awe. The mayor was impressed by their invention, praising them for creating something that could help maintain ecosystems in such a unique and stylish way. As they sat in the mayor's office, basking in the praise and recognition, Jesse couldn't help but crack a smile. Man, who would have thought that our crazy little experiment would turn out to be such a hit? Mike nodded in agreement, his arms crossed and a proud grin on his face. Yeah, it's definitely one for the books. We're gonna be legends for this. Walter, ever the cautious one, simply smiled and said, "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have a lot of work to do to make sure this invention is safe and effective in the long run." The next morning, the news of their invention spread like wildfire. The people of the North American continent were amazed by the glowing arthropods and the role they played in maintaining ecosystems. Walter and his team were hailed as heroes, their names being praised in every household. As they sat in their hotel room that night, Walter raised his glass in a toast. To teamwork, to creativity, and to making a difference in the world. Jesse clinked his glass against Walter's and said, "Cheers to that, Mr. White. We definitely made a mark with this one." Mike raised his glass as well, a smile playing on his lips. "Here's to the future and all the possibilities it holds for us." And as they sipped on their drinks, the room filled with a sense of satisfaction and pride. They had truly created something extraordinary, something that would be remembered for years to come. As the night drew to a close, Walter turned to his team and said, "I couldn't have done this without you guys. Thank you for believing in me and for being a part of this incredible journey." And with those words, they settled down for the night, content in the knowledge that they had achieved something truly remarkable. The glowing arthropods continued their eternal battle in the desert, emitting their purple smoke as a reminder of the impact they had on the world. And Walter White and his team rested easy, knowing that they had made a difference that would last for generations to come. Words. 400. Walter White, a renowned chemistry professor, found himself in his laboratory chemical room, determined to create something extraordinary. Despite his bandaged nose and goggles, he proceeded with mixing different chemicals, his hands trembling with anticipation. As he carefully dropped one chemical onto another, he couldn't help but wonder what his invention would turn out to be. Meanwhile, outside the laboratory, Jesse sat casually on a chair, spinning a glowing rod on his hand, while Mike leaned against the wall, waiting for Walter to finish his task. Jesse questioned what Walter was inventing, his curiosity piqued. Inside the room, Walter's face was covered in sweat as he struggled to invent a new chemical substance. With determination, Walter wiped the sweat off his face and continued mixing the chemicals. He assured himself that he was almost done and urged himself to stay calm. After mixing a few more chemicals, he finally created a final product, which he transferred to a container gun. As he emerged from the room, Mike and Jesse eagerly examined the glowing arthropod created by Walter. Impressed by Walter's creation, they decided to test it on a wolf spider. The spider began to glow purple, showcasing the potential of Walter's invention. Excited by the results, they placed the spider in a box and drove to the desert. There, they released the glowing arthropod, which injected its glowing toxins into a nearby deathstalker scorpion. The scorpion also started to glow purple, and soon, a fierce battle ensued between the two glowing arthropods. Emitting a purple mist, they fought endlessly, captivating the onlookers. As Walter and his allies drove away, their electric AI car emitted gas on its pathway, leaving a trail of purple mist in the desert. Back in their room, Walter and his team reflected on their achievement. They were proud of creating something extraordinary that helped maintain ecosystems by emitting purple gas through the arachnids' eternal battle. The people of North America praised them for their innovative creation. As night fell, Walter and his team settled down, reminiscing about the day's events. They were pleased with the impact of their invention on the environment. They discussed how the glowing arthropods maintained ecosystems in a stylish and unique manner through their continual battles. The next day, they were hailed as heroes by the mayor for their remarkable contribution to environmental preservation. The glowing arthropods' role in maintaining ecosystems was recognized and appreciated by all. Walter and his team basked in the glory of their success, knowing they had made a significant difference. As they rested during the night, Walter and his allies were content with their accomplishments. They knew they had created something truly extraordinary that would benefit the environment for years to come. The glowing arthropods continued their eternal battle, emitting purple smoke that symbolized the beauty and balance of nature. And Walter White, the chemistry professor turned inventor, smiled with satisfaction, knowing that he had made a lasting impact on the world. Words 495. As the glowing arthropods continued to battle endlessly in the desert, Walter White and his allies watched in awe from the safety of their high-tech AI electric car. The purple misty gaseous substance enveloped the desert in an otherworldly haze, creating a surreal and thrilling scene. Jesse, who was always the more impulsive of the group, couldn't contain his excitement as he exclaimed, "This is insane, Mr. White. I never thought our invention would have such a dramatic impact." Mike, ever the calm and collected one, simply nodded in agreement. "It's truly remarkable. We've created something truly unique and groundbreaking." Walter White, the mastermind behind the whole operation, sat back with a satisfied smile on his face. "I had a feeling this would be something special. But even I didn't expect it to turn out this way." As the sun began to rise over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the desert, the glowing arthropods finally seemed to reach a truce. They stopped their endless battle and began to emit a softer, more ethereal glow, almost as if they were communicating with each other in a language only they understood. Walter White and his allies watched in silence, mesmerized by the beauty of the scene unfolding before them. It was a moment of pure magic, a manifestation of their hard work and ingenuity. As they drove back to their lab, the glowing arthropods safely released back into the wild, Walter White couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had created something truly remarkable, something that would leave a lasting impact on the world. And as they settled back into their lab, resting easy after a long and thrilling day, Walter White knew that they had achieved something truly special. The glowing arthropods would forever be a part of their legacy, a symbol of their innovation and creativity. And as the night fell, casting a peaceful darkness over the world, Walter White and his allies drifted off to sleep, content in the knowledge that they had made a difference, that they had created something extraordinary. And as the world continued to spin, the glowing arthropods continued to illuminate the night, a constant reminder of the incredible journey that had brought them into existence. And Walter White, Jesse, and Mike knew that they would always be remembered as the ones who dared to dream, who dared to create, and who dared to change the world for the better. Words 409.